Okay, so we're going to be talking about the fruit of grace, or grace as works. That is, our deeds, Christians' deeds, good works, are to come from the proper source, grace, rather than human effort and human achievement. So, throw some scriptures at you. 2 Peter 1:3. His divine power has given us everything we need for life and godliness through the knowledge of him who called us to his glory and goodness. Through these he has given us great and precious promises, that through them we may participate in the divine nature, grace, and escape the corruption of the world caused by evil desire. For this very reason, make every effort to add to your faith, and there's a long list of stuff to add to your faith. So this verse is just perfect for the confusion that's in the church. People go down here to verse 5 and they go, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, knowledge, to the goodness knowledge, and the knowledge self-control. And then there's this list of good deeds that that are attributed to good works or fruit. So how do you get these? Well, some just jump to verse 5 and they go, well, you get them through making every effort. You have to, if you're missing one of these, you need to work on it. You need to take some sort of a course, or you need to start eliminating things. Make a list of things to eliminate that's going to make you productive in these things. Eliminate the negatives and you'll have the positives. This verse clear, but you have to start at the beginning. You can't start at the end. This is a problem many people have with scriptures, and pastors have. They start teaching the Bible and they start with Romans chapter 12 or Ephesians chapter 5, and they skip the how to, and they go to this. These should be the results of living a life through grace. Should be knowledge of God, self-control, perseverance, godliness, brotherly kindness. But what people call fruit, unfortunately, or if you take a Christian course or a non-Christian course, a psychological course, or any kind of a self-help program, what these are, these self-help Christian programs. People call them Christian, but they're just go through these and attain these things through effort. But they say,
but it says make every effort. And so people get thrown. People want to find something to do. When they're doing that, they are attaining godly fruits, and it's attributed to God. So they'll go, well, you shouldn't complain about this program, Jeff, because this methodology that these people are using is producing good fruit. That is, people are getting better. Well, if you practice Buddhism, you'll get better. You practice any kind of a methodology where you put disciplines in your life, there will be some kind of improvement.
but it's not Christianity. Christianity is the divine power will be given to us through grace. That's it. This is, and everything else is in opposition to that, and there's no mingling of these things. It says in Romans, grace is not works. If grace had anything to do with works, then grace would not be grace. Works are not grace. If works were grace, then grace wouldn't be works. They're in opposition. They're opponents. They don't work together. You can't get your works to become grace. And if you attribute that to grace, you are you're way off in the wrong ballpark, is what you are. So let me see, another verse we're going to throw on top of this is 2 Corinthians 1:12. Now this is our boast. Our conscience testifies that we have conducted ourselves in the world, and especially in our relations with you, in the holiness and sincerity that are from God. We have done so not according to worldly wisdom, but according to God's grace. So Paul here is attributing all his relationships, how he deals with people and how he deals with the world. He did not learn, he said, I didn't learn this in a relationship seminar. I learned this by the grace of God. A relationship seminar would be worldly wisdom. You take a bunch of people and you put them through, give them surveys, and they come out with number crunching, and you get your cookie cutter and you tell people this is how you should act. This is what works, and usually it will to a point, but it's not the grace of God, because God deals with individuals. He deals with me separately than he deals with you or Billy Graham or anybody. God deals with me as an individual. So here is a key, though, to understanding the grace of God, the fruit of the Spirit in grace as works. Paul starts out saying, now this is my boast. So he's boasting in the grace of God. So if you want to know what really some of the way to really test to see if a ministry or a person is working in grace, then they're going to boast in grace. Otherwise, it's humility. Humility is that the source is not from you. You're whatever good deeds or good works or good things that are produced from your life, in your own life and in the lives of others, is by grace. It's not what I have done, what my superior intellect has done, my superior knowledge has done, my brain power, my willpower, my any kind of power. It's attributed to God. And when it's not attributed to God, when it's a work of the flesh, that is a word, natural effort, natural human effort, then boasting is going to become involved. And people are like, yes, I'm working really hard at this, I'm using the right tools, and they have a sense,
it gives them a sense of pride and accomplishment. I was asking somebody about this. It's called the Genesis process, and it's getting very popular around. And it's a system, a methodology of training your brain to attain the fruit of the Spirit. But it's impossible. So I asked a guy about it, and he goes, "Yes, we're
we're working so hard, and this thing is really kicking my ass to get where I'm going, but I feel so good about the progress that's happening in my life. Well, that's just effort and pride. That's all it is. And then these people they separate themselves from the rest of the church, and because of what they are achieving, they look at themselves as like on a higher plane than the rest of Christians because they are working so hard and they're achieving and they're making this progress. And who needs to be in this program? Everybody. That's what their secret teaching is once they get down the line a little bit. So, just on this subject of this, I asked a pastor that was over this program, this Genesis Pros program, asking, uh, uh, what about the grace of God? The grace of God working, and you're cutting off the grace of God when you put people into a system and they're working that, and where's God in it? So what he said to me was, Jeff, you're naive if you believe that God will give them grace to change their lives. You people need experts to start making incremental changes in their life to have real change in their lives. Well, that's just a Christian pastor. That's one of the pastors in a church up here that's got Bayside at Granite Bay. He's got 13,000 people there, and this is what the leadership of this church is teaching, the opposite of grace. Saying, if you believe in the grace of God, you're naive. You need to work a system, a methodology. Your only hope is an expert. Well, this is the opposite of what Paul's saying here. Saying your only hope is the grace of God, learning the grace of God, and rejecting the wisdom of the world. So I'm just going to throw a couple of quick verses on top of this showing what Paul said. Romans 15:5 says he has written the book of Romans by grace. 1 Corinthians 3:10, that grace made him a master builder. That is, he learned to build churches by the grace of God, through the grace of God. 1 Corinthians 15:10 says, by grace I am what I am. He doesn't attribute anything to natural abilities and natural talents, but he was infused by this. This changed him. Ephesians 3:7 says that he was made a minister of the gospel by grace. 2 Corinthians 9:8 says, the abundance of grace was given me for every good work. Every good work that he was attributed to him. That's humility. There's no boasting in that. Colossians 1:6, the fruit of the Spirit, we have the fruit of the Spirit because you know grace. The fruit of the Spirit can only come from grace. It's not, you see, I just got a letter from somebody saying, actually it was the Genesis process thing again. When I talked to somebody about it, I was getting a letter that says, Jeff, you need to be forgiven. God forgive you for bashing this ideal because of the fruit that is produced in people's lives. Well, it's produced pride in their lives, and it's produced a well that they go to. They will always go to this well. Whenever they got a problem in their life, they'll go to this system. They'll go right back to this methodology. They won't go. It has nothing to do with the grace of God. And the guy actually, the founder, has pretty much rejected the Bible and redefined every term there is in the Bible. Where there's sin, there's no such thing as sin in this system. It's everything's an addiction, and an addiction is, you can't repent from an addiction. You just got to get your brain straightened out. So it's all brain straightening. That well is not Christianity. So all these, every system is works. So fruit of the Spirit, if you want to have the fruit of the Spirit, it's available to all freely. There is no cost to it except your pride. That's what it will cost. You have to humbly come before God and say, I need you desperately. You're my only hope. The wisdom of the world will not get me there. Psychology won't get me there. My relations can't be built upon how I deal with people on psychological methods or any other kind of system. It has to be from God, the grace of God, through Jesus Christ.